Xin Nian Kuai Le. Xin Nian Kuai Le. It's Happy New Year. And you can see its pinyin form on the top, that is pure Chinese, that is called Chinese characters. The second one is pinyin. Pinyin is basically used to learn the original Chinese characters. I will explain you. I just want to tell you everything what we read or see. Its translation you can see, okay. And ni hao, you must know ni hao, hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Yes,
So
sir.
here is introduction. In the Chinese it is called Jie Shao, right? Yeah, Jie Shao. So Jie Shao, here is, we can change our name. So my name you can see Adeel Malik, and in Chinese it is called Ati Malik, right? I studied in Namal University. Was I Namal Ta Xue Xue Shi Chong Wen. Now you can remember this word Chong Wen. Chong Wen is Chinese when we say Chinese language. So now from now we do not need to say Chinese language. We can, like for example, while speaking Urdu or our country language, we mostly use English words, right? While speaking Urdu we use many English words. So we can become habitual of speaking Chinese when we use Chinese language or Chongwen instead of English words, right? So here if we are talking about Chinese language, so we should say Chongwen. So was I Namal Ta Xue Xue Shi Chongwen. I studied Chinese language at Namal. Wash Pakistan. Now you see Pakistan is simple, but it is adopted word, so it is converted to Pakistan. Run means person or human. I am Pakistani or Pakistani person, right? So it was little introduction. Here is, as you said before, Lao Shir Hao. So Ta Chia Hao means hello everybody, right? Ta Chia Hao. Ni Hao is hello and Ta Chia is hello everybody, right? Washer Lao. Here are some classroom expressions. These are Ta Chia Hao, hello everybody. Washer Lao Shir. Washer Lao Shir, as you said before, Lao Shir Hao. It means hello teacher. So Washer Lao Shir means I am a teacher and you are a student. Ni Hao, when you say Ni Hao, so Ni Hao means you good. It's, you can say, its pure meaning is Ni Hao means you good. So while combining this we can say that hello. So here Ni Shi Xue Sheng. Xue Sheng means student, okay? So Ni Shi Xue Sheng, you are a student, right? So do you remember the meaning of Chinese language?
Yes.
Zhongwen.
Yes.
It's
Zhongwen.
Chongwen, exactly. Chongwen, right? Good. So right now we learned one that word, and now the other is Xue Sheng. Xue Sheng means student, okay? No need to pressurize yourself, but I am just clearing you some words, right? Okay. Now let's go to the history of Chinese, little bit history, so you can understand how and why it is one of the most difficult languages of the world and what is the background. So because as we are learning it, so we should know a background for that, right? So you know, method of communication, everybody wants to communicate or need to communicate, then we have to find a source or a way to talk. Like for example, here we are talking via Zoom or WhatsApp or this and that, right? So always we need a way, or we need some good way to convey our message, to talk, to understand the things, right? So here you can see origin of Chinese characters. The earliest Chinese characters were found on the oracle bones, right? Chinese written system evolved over the years and developed many different styles. Now what happened, as you know, Chinese language is very, very difficult. Its culture is 5,000 years ago, right? So before, in very ancient ages, there were no pages, no pen, anything. They had no characters, no alphabets. So they started making pictures of the things, right? Because they do not know any language, they don't know anything about how to write, what is writing, they even don't know. Like just a small kid, he don't know anything. So, and that ages, they didn't know how to write or communicate or anything. So they started drawing pictures of things. In here you see, there are many pictures they make to convey the message, right? So this is the reason why they made pictures, because they didn't have alphabet, right? And this is the reason they made pictures. So this is the main reason why this language is called pictographic language, right? Pictographic is like made up of pictures. So they gather different pictures to write or create their sentence. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you can see ancient Chinese is 5,000 years old pictographic language, right? So now you must be watching different styles. For example, in fish, they call it yu, right? So yu means fish. Now you see two pictures of fish, right? The first one on the top and the second one. The first one is very old, but then they advanced and they created it little bit like you can say simplified. In the same way, ma mean horse. This horse, before they were drawing whole picture of the thing, like you can see elephant, xiang. When they had to write any word, they were drawing all the picture of anything, right? But days passes and years after that, they simplified it. So why I am using the word simplified? Because now the language we are studying in all over the world, which is called Mandarin, that is called simplified Chinese, right? So even in United Nations or in all over the world, the Chinese which has been taught to all the nations, that is called simplified. Why simplified? Obviously, if there is complex things, like for example, if you want to write elephant and you sit and start drawing the elephant, so it's very hard to do that. Even this is on the screen, you can see it is not so much simplified language, but you can say it was very simplified, right? Now move to next. Here like people were very like from old ages, they had no knowledge about things, right? So they didn't know how to communicate or talk, so that's why they created pictures. Now you see how they make words from pictures. Here you see it is just a symbolic representation to tell you something. Like here you see, you can say it is written how, right? In here,
Yes, sir.
if you see my mouse, this one, the left side, you can assess that on the left side it is woman's head, right? Can you guess that? Right. So this radical means nu, right? It means woman or girl. And the right side, it is called z, right? This radical means z. So woman and a kid, it is thought that mother and a child, it looks good, right? It was their perception or like thinking. So it looks good. So they made a picture of a new word and they call it how, right? Now how they say it how? Because by drawing these lines here and there, You cannot say how to pronounce it, right? This is another step. Here I would like to clear you another thing, that Chinese, we have to learn it in two ways. It's not like so simple like English language. We learn ABC to till Z and we start making words, right? For example, if you have learned ABC and if you want to say room, you can write ROOM, room, right? And if you want to say kamra, so you can write it KMRA, right? But here in the Chinese language, you have to learn two languages. One is spoken language and one is written language. Getting my point? Because obviously
Yes, sir.
nobody can ever
Yes, sir.
think how to write it, or if you can write it, then you don't know how to pronounce it. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Hassan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if anything which you are not clear, you can tell me. Okay, so this is the way they made the words. You will see other like this. Like these are just symbolic representations. They start making the lines and they can say this is knife, this is power. On the left side you can see they made like punch and it's called par. But in the Chinese they call it li, right? And the right side they call it tao. Now the tao is knife and li is par, right? So
Yes, sir.
in the same way you can
Yes,
see
sir.
this, you can see that I am telling you the characters made from the pictures, right? So here you can see tree. How tree is written in the Chinese, you can see in black. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in this way
Yes, sir.
Yes,
tree
sir.
is written. Tree.
Yes, sir.
In the next, that is called fire. In the next, that is called human or person. The next is mountain, sun and mouth. Now can you imagine how to pronounce these characters?
Sir, I don't know about these ones.
So here our point is very clear that we must learn speaking also. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Writing,
Yes,
writing
Yes,
is
sir.
another thing,
Yes, sir.
speaking another thing. So writing and speaking. So while learning Chinese, remember one thing, we have to learn two languages. One is speaking Chinese, one is writing Chinese. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here we can
Yes,
see
sir.
Yes,
tree,
sir.
it's mu, other is huo, third is ren, mountain is shan, and sun is r, and mouth is kou. Isn't it looking funny?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here you can see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now here you will see the concept of simplified or modern Chinese. On the left side it is ancient or old Chinese. On the right side it is modern or simplified Chinese. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So it is very
Yes, sir.
clear that in the old times how they were writing, and now today the modern Chinese is written in this form. Okay, we will learn it. Now you can see that how sun modernized, moon, mountain, water and rain, right? So it is very interesting if
Yes.
we learn from the pictures.
Yes.
Here you can see some picture backgrounds, historical backgrounds that they used to write words, or they draw pictures on the stones, oracle bones, and like that. These are very old pictures. Okay, because that time
Yes,
there
sir.
were no
Okay, sir.
papers or
Yes,
anything,
sir.
so they were used
Okay,
to
sir.
engrave their writing on these. So here is, let's start it, the Chinese characters. Okay, first of all, when we talk about the Chinese words written like cartoons, So we say them characters, Chinese characters. English, we say it words, right? But in Chinese, we say it Chinese characters. Okay? So we don't call
Yes,
them
sir.
words. The
Yes,
original
sir.
categories of Chinese characters is we use basic radicals, stroke order, and basic strokes. Now, what are
Yes,
these
sir.
things? I will tell you what are
Yes,
these things.
sir.
These are the radicals. Now, what are the radicals? Basic and meaningful for component of Chinese characters. Knowing them well greatly facilitates your understanding of the characters. Now, the thing is, these Chinese radicals are simplified, more simplified to make a complete word. For example, I can give you one example. Can you see my mouse pointer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here you see
Yes,
nu
sir.
Yes,
and
sir.
here is z. Okay, so by combining these two, we can make how, and how means good. You remember that picture I showed you
Yes,
before?
sir.
So this is the point.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
These are the radicals, right? And there are many radicals which by combining with the other radicals, they are more simplified or they are reshaped to make a complete word, right? These radicals we will
Yes, sir.
learn one by one. We will learn
Yes,
their
Yes, sir.
meaning, how they are written. Today we are just going through that what is Chinese and what is background of Chinese. So you should be clear about these things, right? Because sometimes students have a very big question that why we should write like that. So this is the reason why I made this basic historical background to clear the minds, right? So these all radicals will be used, and I will tell you where we are using these radicals with another radical or combining with each other to make a new word. Understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right.
Yes,
So here are the basic strokes. Now the Chinese characters on the most right example, you see the example. There are Chinese characters written, right? You can see it. Now they are how they are written. You are not free to write anything in any way. No, there are rules of writing these Chinese characters, and by following these rules, you can write them very efficiently, right? And if you do not follow these rules, you will not be able to write them properly. Getting my point?
Yes.
Now here you see the strokes.
Yes.
These lines, you see the lines going here and there, left to right, top to bottom, and anything you see. There is every rule behind every stroke. These are called strokes. Okay. So here
Yes.
you can see stroke, its direction. You can see the whole table that what is the stroke. First stroke you can see, and its direction from top left to right bottom. Okay, and what we call it tian, right? In the same way,
Yes, sir.
the next is hung.
Yes, sir.
It is written from left to right. Shu, top to bottom. I am just revising. We will learn these things completely later on. Hung shu,
Okay, sir.
hung shu, pie
Okay,
na,
sir.
thi, hung ko, shu ko, xie ko, hung che, shu che, right? So you can see their direction in the second column, direction, right? These are the arrows. How to write these strokes?
Yes.
Okay, if you know how to write these strokes, you can easily write Chinese characters. Ming Pai Lama? Ming Pai La is understand. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Ming Pai La. Ming
Yes.
Paila is
Yes, sir.
understand, and ma, if we add ma, so it makes it question, like Ming Paila understand ma, so it adds do you in a sense, right? So Ming Paila ma, so you can say
Yes.
only Ming Paila. Okay, if you
Yes.
say only Ming Paila, it means understand. So
Meng Paila.
yeah, Ming Paila.
Meng
How we
Paila.
create Ming Paila, or what is the meaning of this whole word, we will learn very clearly. Okay, these stroke orders, the stroke orders, top before bottom, left before right, right? It means that left vertical usually before top. Like these are all stroke orders you have to follow to write. Like in the point number 1, top before bottom, you cannot make stroke from the bottom, you have to write it from top, because this is a rule, traffic rules. You have to follow the traffic rules, red light, green light, yellow
Yes.
light, anything. So here, if you are writing some character of 3 strokes, so you have to start from top. On the second, you can see it's left before right. It means that you have to make stroke on the left. Left vertical stroke before top horizontal stroke. Here also you can see that in the third point. Bottom horizontal stroke last. Have you seen that? Red lines, first of all top, then the second, and the third is vertical line, and the bottom horizontal stroke will be on the last,
Yes, sir.
right? So center
Yes,
stroke
sir.
before wings in the fifth point you can see. So these are all rules which we will, when we will start learning the Chinese characters. First we are going to learn how to speak somehow, because obviously we have to learn Chinese properly, not only spoken or not only written. Am I right? If you know, if you know spoken language and don't understand the written language, then it is not so much worthy, right? So we will carry it side by side, right? So these are the all rules. International speakers, now the Chinese Mandarin is, after English, Mandarin is spoken widely. Okay, three parts of Chinese alphabet. Pinyin. Now what is pinyin? In 1960s, before 1960s year, there was no way to learn Chinese, right? Because any other common person, how can they learn this Chinese? You can see the example column.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see the Chinese
sir.
column, right? Example column. No other person
Yes, sir.
can learn this Chinese without
Yes, sir.
any help, right? So in 1960s, Chinese created a system which is called a pinyin system, because they wanted to learn the other languages and they wanted other nations to learn their Chinese language. Okay, so they created a pinyin system to learn Chinese, because Chinese wanted to learn the other languages and Chinese also wanted the other nations to learn their Chinese language. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
So they created
Yes,
a
sir.
system which is called pinyin system. Understand? Now what is pinyin
Yes, sir.
system? This is a system by which
Yes,
we
sir.
can learn Chinese language. It has initials, finals, tones, 3 parts, right? Initials, finals and tones. Now what are initials and finals? Let's see. Here are some other details. One or more syllable makes a word. Each syllable has a Chinese character. Now what is syllable. Ni hao. In here, ni is one syllable and hao is another syllable. Understand?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
the pinyin system. What is the pinyin system? You can see the picture below. You see initial, N is initial, I is final, right? It makes ni, and see above there is a tone. So tone is another part. In the same way, there is how, right? No need to confuse, just you keep watching, I will clear you everything. So these
Yes,
are the
sir.
parts. Now you see,
Yes, sir.
you can know that on the top it is written ni, N-I, ni, but the character below that, which is the Chinese, before you didn't know how to pronounce it. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So by writing
Yes.
this
Yes, sir.
pinyin system, N-I, now we are good to know that we can learn this Chinese. Is it so?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is
Yes,
the
sir.
reason they created
Yes, sir.
pinyin system, so other people can learn Chinese, right? So
Yes, sir.
what are the initials and
Yes, sir.
finals? I'll explain you. First, go to the tones. What are the tones? There are 4 tones, right? 4 tones, and one is neutral, that has no impact. If there is no tone, it has no impact. For example, in the first you can say ma, that is flat. The other is ma, that is rising tone. And the third is
Yes.
ma,
Yes.
horse, right? And the third is ma, right? Now here
Yes, sir.
we come across another
Yes, sir.
importance of tones, that if a tone is changing, the meaning is also changing. You can see the meaning. Ma means mother, ma,
Yes, sir.
ma, horse, and ma, to scold, right? There
Yes, sir.
are 4 tones
Yes, sir.
in the Chinese character. So we also have to see, or now we know, that why they speak like difficult way, because they also have to focus on the tones, right?
Yeah. Ming piles.
Ming-
No, pile.
Ming Paila.
piles. No, pile.
Ming Piler.
Exactly.
Ming
Okay.
Paila.
Now the force of the tone or the expression of tone you can also see below in this picture, that the first tone is ma, it is flat. The second is rising. You see the green arrow, ma. And the third tone here, it is ma. Are you getting my point? Ma. And
Yes,
the
sir.
fourth is top to bottom,
Yes, sir.
blue one, the ma. Okay. So these are 4
Ma.
tones which we will be using and
Ma.
practicing. By the way, right now I am telling you what we have to learn in all this scenario. Now these are the initials. Initials, why we need initials? I have already told you that to read or learn Chinese language, this is a system which is pinyin system, and for this pinyin system they used alphabets with different sounds. This is BPMF in English, but they used these alphabets with different sounds to make pinyin system and to read Chinese. Now
Yes,
here
sir.
if I say it is not BPMF while reading or studying Chinese, I would say that po po mo fo, right? It must be funny
Yes,
little
sir.
bit. It must
Yes,
be
sir.
a little bit funny, but
Yes, sir.
po po
Yes, sir.
mo fo, t th n l, k k h. So again,
Okay.
po
Yes,
po mo fo, t th n l, No need. I am just first. I am just telling you. After that, we will learn it. We will practice it properly. So even our first part will be that initials, because until or unless you don't know ABC, can you create any word, or you cannot pronounce any word, right? So in the same way, if you do not know initials, we cannot learn Chinese, by the way. So this will be our first lesson in the next class. Today, as you know, it is complete history about that. Po pho mo pho t th n l k k h Ming pai la ma?
Mingpal.
Ming pai lama.
No, you have to say Ming pai la. That understand.
Ming pai.
Yeah, Ming pai la ma means do you understand, and Ming pai la means understand. Okay. The other part too is chi chi shi zu ci si chi chi shi ru. Okay, so we will study or learn these alphabets with these sounds which they created for us to learn Chinese. In the same way, these are the finals, like in the English, that is vowels. This is called a, I, U, U. Can you see the difference in the sounds?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right. So these are the
Yes, sir.
finals. We need to practice it. Now here we can practice little bit like four tones. That is called ma, 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 ma. Ti, 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 ti. K, 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 k. So can you read it, Hamza?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First line.
Ma,
First line.
yes,
would you
sir.
like to read?
Ma,
Me,
ma,
Hasham,
ma.
would you like to read the first line?
Okay, sir. Ma, ma,
Okay,
ma,
sir.
ma.
Ma.
So here
ma.
we will practice it, then it will be better, because the first tone is very flat, that is called ma, the other is ma, third is ma, fourth is ma, right? So tones are very necessary. We will practice with the words. Okay, so these are some classroom expressions, as you say before that, lao shir hao, that is hello teacher. The next sentence you can see woman to xue xi chong wen. Hamza, what is the meaning of chong wen?
Chinese.
Chinese language. Right?
Chinese.
Chinese language.
Yes.
So woman to xue xi
Yes.
chong wen. We all study Chinese language. What is the meaning of xue sheng? Remember that?
Shui Shang.
Hmm.
Sir, it was
Wei Shang.
student.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was-
Very good.
Student.
So these are some classroom expressions. We all study Chinese language just for practice and fun. These are some example sentences. I wanted to show you just like that. 他是谁？他是我的爸爸，我爱我的爸爸。他是谁？他是我的妈妈，我爱我的妈妈。他是不是你的弟弟？是，他是我的弟弟。So who is younger? Hasham is younger, I think.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Hasham will say kaka, like big brother or elder brother. Elder brother is
My aunt told me.
elder brother is
My aunt
called
told
kaka, and the younger brother is called titi. Right?
Yes, sir.
Titi, right?
Teacher.
Yes,
So this is in Chinese language. 是，她是我的弟弟。她是不是你的姐姐？姐姐 means elder sister. So 不是，她不是我的姐姐
Yes, sir.
她是我的妹妹。Meaning is that no, she is not my elder sister. she is my younger sister, right? Chie is
Yes,
means
sir.
elder sister. Chie
Yes,
means
sir.
elder, and me means younger sister,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So
Okay, sir.
no need to
Yes, sir.
pressurize. Just
sir.
I am showing you some detailed sentences. Okay. Here is standards for Chinese test. Like you already know, advanced student there, HSK, Han Yu Shui Ping Khao Shi, or test of Chinese proficiency. Chinese language proficiency is offered annually at different universities, Confucius institutes in Islamabad, or there are many other cities. That is called HSK 1, HSK 2, HSK 3, 4. It's up to 6. Or in the same way, they also take test of listening and speaking. That is called HSKK 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay. Han Yu Shui Ping Kao Shi. Han Yu means Chinese language, Shui Ping means level or proficiency, and Khao Shi means test, right? So this is the scenario
Yes, sir.
how you give test, you see your proficiency or your level of Chinese language, how it is going, or how proficient you are. So here is Xie Xie, Xie Xie Ta Jia. Xie
Yes, sir.
Xie means, you can also remember this word Xie Xie. Xie Xie means thank you, right? Xie Xie means, yeah, thank you. Xie Xie Ta Jia means, as you know, Ta Jia How means hello everybody, right? So Ta Jia means everybody. So Xie Xie Ta Jia means thank you everybody, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so here our today's presentation is finished. This was complete detail about the history, how we learn. I think now we should activate our cameras so we can see each other.
Sir, mine
Yes,
is
sir.
already on.
Yeah, you.
Sir, mine
Yes,
is
sir.
already on.
Right, but I cannot see now. Hassan is
Sir.
there. Okay, good. So today it was complete history of Chinese language, how and why. Because if we just start learning it, okay, ni hao, hello, this and that, you know, if you do not know the basic of such a difficult language, there will be very much difficulty in the coming time. So that's why I told you the history, writing system, writing pattern, how we will learn it. There are two ways of learning it. One is speaking, one is listening, speaking, listening, writing, right? So all the scenario I have already told you. From where we have to start, which is the basic point, we must master it. Obviously, I will make another slide or program by which we will be studying. So, any question you have right now for any point?
No, sir.
Hasham, do you have any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So,
No, sir.
what did you understand from today's lecture? First, Hasham will tell, and then Hassan. And was it having some knowledge for you, or is there something you gained, or some have you cleared your mind about the Chinese language, or what? Any output? What have you learned from the today's lecture?
How to write in Chinese.
Hmm.
How to write in Chinese.
Right. And why they write so much difficult language, and how they write so much difficult language. So I hope you know the history. And Hamza, what new you have learned from today's lecture?
Sir, that If we have to learn Chinese,
Sir,
both
that
speaking and writing
if
are
we have to
both
learn
important.
Chinese, both
And
speaking and writing are both
Opinion was
important.
to learn the
And
Chinese
Indian
16
was to
Yeah.
learn the
long
Chinese
ago.
Yeah,
16
yeah. Pinyin was
long
created
ago.
to learn Chinese language, because without pinyin we cannot learn it, right? So
Yes, sir.
pinyin is a system.
Yes,
They
sir.
used alphabets with different sounds so we can pronounce it, right? So today
Sir.
we have just come across the history
Yes,
and
sir.
what, when, why, such kind of things. In the next lecture, we will learn its initials, that is Popo, Mofo, or something. That is called initials. We will practice their sounds properly, and then we will go slowly and study, because if we run away, then things will be left behind, right? So we have to study it properly, right? So
Yes, yes, sir.
if any question for
Yes,
today,
yes, sir.
you can ask. Then I think it's enough for
No,
today,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So you
Yes,
must
sir.
tell all this about this lecture to your mother, and uh, so by telling this all details to your mother or anybody who is teaching you, you will also remind that, right? Remind the things,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So okay then. See you in the next class.
Okay, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.